What is going on, everybody? It is episode 697 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I'm here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Today's a very fall vibe day, and I just feel ready to crash out and have like a super introspective season ahead of us. How do you feel about it?
Not like that at all, at least not today. Maybe on the weekend.
You're not ready to crash out?
No. Maybe on the weekend I'll be ready to crash out and be introspective. Not today. We got a bunch of stuff to get into, you know? It was a busy news weekend when it relates to Diddy and all sorts of stuff like that. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. We will not be pausing. Oh, plus we had technical difficulties with the crisis meter and everything. So
our crisis meter crashed out.
I'm the opposite of introspective today, which is a weekend thing for me. So we got a bunch of stuff to get into today, guys. But before we do, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already. I also want to indicate to you guys that there's a link in the description as well as pinned comment above on how to sign up for the Timcast Discord, because in the Timcast Discord, there is a subsection dedicated to PCC episode 700 messages. You guys can go and leave voicemails for us, which we will be listening to live on air for the 700th episode. That is this Thursday.
Yes.
So go ahead and do that. I'm sure a lot of you are already members over there, but if you are not, please go over there and look to sign up. And then
it has to be a members thing, because if you just set up a random voicemail box, you don't know what kind of freaks are going to show up and try to get your channel banned. The messages will be screened beforehand, so don't even try to do any of that. I trust you, though.
Yes.
I don't know if I should, but I trust you. And I'm excited for that because we have not done a call-in show like IRL does so often now. And the call-in show is far more involved. Someone would need to be screening people in real time. I think the voicemails are what we're going to start off with. And maybe if we really like how that goes, we can see about doing a full-on call-in show in the future.
Would be cool. So go ahead and sign up there and leave us a voicemail so that we can react. There are already two on there. I saw one from Shane H. Wilder and one from Corey Anderson. So guys, go ahead and do so.
Don't just leave a message. Like, ask us a question. You know, what do you want to know that you don't get to super chat about?
Yeah. So go ahead.
Ask us about like your dating life or something. Ask us for advice. We'll give you really bad advice, I promise.
Yes. So go ahead and do that, guys. Remember to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already, and share this live stream and these episodes out with your friends and your family and your loved ones and everyone you like and everyone you don't like. The best way to help shows like this grow is to get the word out there and share them so that other people can find it and then share it with their friends and loved ones and people that they hate as well. Thank you so much for that. So what are we getting into today? Well, first things first, I was never a fan of Paramore.
Why,
personally.
Why?
Just wasn't.
It's just objectively good music. Like it's you can't argue with that.
I would have to listen to the music to you know, have an opinion on that.
You're telling me you've never listened to Misery Business?
I've heard the song, of course. It's anything that big you can't escape, but I didn't go rush out and look for more music from Paramore after the fact.
But apparently you didn't know who Randy Jackson was until today, so I just don't know what planet you're living on.
I know that the Jacksons had the Jackson 5, and there were a lot of people in the family. I didn't watch American Idol.
What I found out today is that Randy Jackson is related to Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about
So
we're going to be talking about Paramore. We're going to be talking about the fact that she seemed to have a script ready to talk crap on Donald Trump, which was very, very funny. So we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about what happened over the weekend with USHER, which was that he deleted all of his tweets, and then people were relating this back to Diddy, and then he said that he got hacked and that it was actually a cryptocurrency scam, which is something that does happen. But we're going to get into that because there was also a bunch of misinformation regarding other celebrities like Megan Fox, Pink. There's also other information coming out about Kevin Hart closed his restaurant 2 weeks ago, and the more conspiratorial nature, the more conspiratorial crowd are connecting that to what happened with Diddy, though he just unexpectedly closed them like 2 weeks ago. ago. He had 4 restaurants. He shut them all down. They were vegan restaurants. We're also going to be talking about the brand new biopic, the new series Monsters from Ryan Murphy. Obviously, Monster came out in 2022 or 2023, the one about Dahmer. They've made a follow-up series about the Menendez brothers, and there have been some pretty wild claims made beyond just about the crimes themselves, but about the brothers. So we'll get into all that. So if you're ready, we can just get started. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. First things first. Let's get started then. So Michelle Obama, who once championed, school lunch reform, has started her own soft drink.
She's
company.
trying to reform adult lunches. And recently, Michelle Obama was spotted hawking a soda brand at a Costco in the Bay Area. She has co-founded a quote-unquote healthy soft drink startup called Plezzy. It's a sweet energy drink that is low sugar and low calorie. So yeah, it's called Plezzy.
Suppose the name isn't any worse than Lunchly.
I guess not, yeah.
There she is.
Like, can you imagine just going to Costco and then you just see Michelle Obama there trying to sell you Nanobot Soda?
Whoever filmed this video does not understand framing.
She needs to start her own, like...
She looks like she's drowning right now.
She needs to start, like, an alcohol brand. Yeah. I think that would be an unexpected twist from her. Yeah. I would be excited to buy that.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll... see, that's what we should be trying. We should be trying this live on air.
She's selling soda that has nanobots in it. If you know, you know. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
Dustin the Wind says, bro, it's on Plezzy. Bro, it's on...
Plezzy.
It's on Plezzy with ads.
Prezi was like, PowerPoint for cool kids. Now people just use PowerPoint.
That makes... I've never even heard of it.
Prezi?
No.
Like, all of my nerd friends actually were obsessed with making Prezi.
It was like reading did you see the thing over the weekend about Gen Z and Gen Alpha are cooked because they can't open zip files on their computer?
Actually me. Literally me.
You're like, what the hell is a WinRAR?
I have literally no idea.
Technology.
I haven't encountered this before.
It's all, it's like horseshoe theory. Like, you've got the boomers over here and you've got the Gen Zers over here, and right in the middle are Gen X and millennials telling you how to open your zip files and how to rotate your PDF. See, this is funny because I saw somebody recently, they were posting about, it was the typical stuff about how politicians are all too old, and they said the main test for being president should be somebody asks you to rotate a PDF file, and if you can't figure it out for yourself, then you're too old to be president. But, apparently Gen Z can't figure out how to rotate a PDF file either.
Because millennials were starting to use the internet at a time when it was far less consumer friendly, and they also had to learn, the basics of HTML in order to customize their MySpace pages.
Not even just the HTML, but just like how to add and delete not apps, programs off of your computer.
But then Zoomers came to, use the internet right at the point where it was starting to get easy to do so. For dumb people.
Yeah.
And that includes me. I'm one of those dumb people. So I never learned those things.
Well, you've told me about how you get content sometimes off the internet when you don't want to sign up for a streaming service. If you learned how to do that.
Oh, you mean from Tubi and
yes,
Freebie?
From Tubi. Like there's like a...
I don't know what you're trying to imply.
Internet Tubi.
I'm talking about Tubi itself.
Yes,
I know what you're trying to say
I know
right now.
exactly what you're saying. I'm just saying, like, it opens up a world of possibilities when you can
Some wild allegations.
When you can unzip zip files. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I have unzipped a file or two back in the day on Tubi. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I'm picking up what you're throwing down.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So there is a new hero in the world.
Yes.
Going on right now.
So there's this baby hippo in Thailand named Moo Deng. This is literally their word for meatball. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed.
So
she's becoming internet famous.
She's winning over the masses. In like one day, I think Olivia said, "I don't get it," and then within like an hour, she was watching endless Moo Deng videos.
I still don't totally get it, but I do see the appeal. Let's just take a look at the video so you guys can enjoy Moo Deng.
Zookeeper's touch and bites down on the zookeeper's knee. Moo Deng is a
She's
playful little
aggressive.
hippo who loves to bounce around. It often keeps its mouth open, and it must have a lot of fun every day before it can fall asleep. Even when it is asleep, it still twitches its limbs. It really enjoys playing with water and takes a bath every morning. Its slippery body makes it prone to slipping.
We got to start one of those social media platforms where you can make a lot of money just narrating something that's happening.
Yeah, just using AI to do it.
It's literally what half of the videos that I watch on like carpentry are, where it's like, this carpenter does something amazing, and
Well, no,
then
they'll just show you like a woodworking video, and
then they
then
just talk over
AI will talk over it with like a Reddit post from Am I the A-hole?
yep. Oh no, I'm having ones where they actually describe what is going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to know what's going on. I just want to like hear a Reddit story over like the video of
Well, a
somebody
Minecraft
power
video.
washing.
Well, a Minecraft video
and like
plays
someone
underneath
cutting
it.
a watermelon. Yeah.
For its safety, the zookeeper sometimes restricts its movements, which makes Moo Deng very angry, and it turns its back on the zookeeper. At this point, the zookeeper will give its rear a light pat. Moo Deng, annoyed by the disturbance, will jump up in anger
Don't do
and
that to
later
her.
bite the zookeeper's knee in secret. After releasing its frustration, Moo Deng will then willingly approach the zookeeper again. Its cuteness and liveliness have earned it a large following, and this superstar even has its own blush endorsement. The name Moo Deng actually translates to elastic pork. Do you like this stretchy little hippo?
Stretchy. I feel like if you tried to hold Moo Deng, she would just be like slipping
Yeah.
all over the place. You
We
wouldn't
got to be
able to hold her.
careful because Harambe wasn't that long ago, lest we forget.
Yeah, I think the zookeeper or the caretaker person for Moo Deng said that she's alarmed by the amount of people who are visiting Moo Deng at this point, and she is worried about a dangerous situation happening.
It's like the video that just came back around. It happened a while ago, but now the story is resurfacing about the dogs pretending to be panda bears
I loved that.
in the Chinese zoo.
Yeah, well, they were like misreporting it, like, oh, this Chinese zoo was trying to make everyone think they were pandas. No, I mean, it was just
Is that not what happened?
no. I mean, it was just like a cute like dog event.
Hold on,
But they were really cute.
I gotta check. Was that, I could maybe that's just I'm just getting fed a bunch of anti-China propaganda.
You are.
But
If anywhere has full access to pandas, it's China.
yeah.
So they also have real pandas.
Chinese zoo, they put admits in big letters, so it must be true.
Well, this is the New York Post
Yeah.
owned by the Murdochs,
Yeah.
so I don't really believe anything
they
they're
say?
saying
The
about
zoo
China.
initially tried to wash its hands of the sham by bizarrely claiming the animals were a breed of panda
Dude,
dogs.
No one actually thinks that they're pandas. Like,
It
you
later-
weren't fooling anyone.
It later came clean, though, and admitted it had just died two chow chows, a breed of spitz that is popular in northern China.
They are really cute.
The
dogs.
visitors
It's like-
demanded their money back after the barking ordeal came to light.
oh, sure.
That's
That
what they
totally
said.
happened.
That's what happened.
I'm just going to believe everything that the Murdochs tell me is
Look,
happening in communist China.
Alec Baldwin once sang the praises of the New York Post sports page.
Yeah,
So,
he did actually.
He said, "I
He
don't
feels
like."
very strongly about it.
He's like, "I don't like the Murdochs, but I like their sports page."
Like, what the fuck does that even mean? How would that be any better than anyone else's sports page? But anyway, Moo Deng is the slippery baby hippo that is uniting everyone across political lines right now in a very heated time.
it's a pygmy hippo. It says.
Yeah, it's like a special breed. So here's the great thing: Moo Deng is never gonna grow up. It's
Always
just like
that size.
how you get a puppy and you're like, I never want my puppy to grow up and become a big dog.
Yes.
It's like that. It's like she's a special breed of hippo
Yeah.
that will just stay small and slippery forever.
Well, I mean, there's got to be at least some animal activists. Dustin the Wind says free Moo Deng, so maybe there's at
Free
least,
Moo Deng?
yep,
From what?
from his
Her
captive from their
enclosure?
captive prison. That's what they're gonna say.
She would be defenseless in the wild.
Well, not with a sassy personality like that. She can fight back with her sassy personality.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
she has an attitude.
Look, in a world full of constant bad news, a little bit of good news is a good thing. I also saw the other day that apparently Jamie Foxx walked his daughter down the aisle to get married, and after his health issues recently, that's a good
Yeah.
thing. You know.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's wholesome. You get to walk his daughter down the aisle.
I mean, it's like not wholesome, but that's pretty much what every dad does.
No, but because he was sick recently, he almost died.
Oh.
So he's back. He's healthy enough to walk her down the aisle again.
Okay, I didn't know what was going on with that. What
Remember
was his
that?
health issue?
I don't even know if he ever actually spoke on what it was, but he was very, very close to death, they said, for a period of time. So the fact that he was able to get back to, you know, a healthy state
That's
and
good.
take his daughter down the aisle is a good thing. All right.
This is some bizarre news, though.
Yeah, I didn't understand this story when I first read it. You want to explain to people what this is?
Elon Musk is getting sued by Cards Against Humanity, which is a headline that
Seems fake.
I initially thought it was fake, but apparently this is actually happening because SpaceX stole land from Cards Against Humanity.
He's a colonizer now.
He is colonizing land that is actually the property of this company.
For what
That
purpose?
makes like the worst card game for millennials. So they're suing Elon and SpaceX for $15 million. They are accused of trespassing and damaging Cards Against Humanity's property in Texas because, as some of you may know, Elon is relocating Twitter from San Francisco to Texas because SpaceX is already located in Texas. We got a huge super chat from Just Cause I'm Free. Thank you for the crisis party. He said, "Happy Monday, crisis actors. Seize the week by the non-binary. Also, I want a pygmy hippo." I don't know what that middle sentence means.
I'm picturing what a non-binary would be in which you grab it, but I don't know.
I kind of don't want to grab it.
Yeah, but I can grab the weak, the bull by the horns, as they say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched 2 movie trailers before the show today, so I'm the week's off to a good start. One of them was okay, and the other one was okay to good. How about that? It's a way to start the week.
That kind of pisses me off.
That one was
It's just okay.
That they're just okay.
Try harder.
Look, the movie will be better. I bet you Gladiator 2 ends up being better than the trailer.
Here, because this was posted about on X, which is owned by Elon, for some reason a lot of people were defending Elon for this, which is crazy because he just was clearly so in the wrong. Cards Against Humanity said, "We bought a plot of land on the US-Mexico border to stop racist billionaire Donald Trump's dumb wall," which never was built, actually. But this year, an even richer, more racist billionaire Elon Musk effed that land with gravel, tractors, and space garbage. So we are suing. How did this happen? Elon Musk's SpaceX was building some space thing nearby, and he figured that he could just dump his shit all over our gorgeous plot of land without asking. After we caught him, SpaceX gave us a 12-hour ultimatum to accept a lowball offer for less than half our land's value. We said, "Go fuck yourself, Elon Musk. We'll see you in court. P.S. We will also accept Twitter.com as compensation."
Their annoying, nonchalant tone makes me not want them to win. I'm sorry.
Well, of course they're annoying. Yes, I was expecting that from Cards Against Humanity. However, this is literally their property. You don't get to just steal someone's property because you're Elon Musk. But this is kind of a life hack if you're rich. Just go damage someone's property and then force them to sell it to you for less than they bought it for.
Yeah, it's really funny because I watched a couple of these extended reviews of Twisters, and they were talking about how the guy was showing up to buy the land from the tornado, the people whose tornado, where the tornado destroyed their property, and how the movie shows him as like the bad guy. But then they're like, well, you know, these people were underinsured and probably weren't going to get a better offer, so maybe he's not the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I the fact that they called it the dumb wall just makes me want them to lose purely out of spite.
Well, it's just crazy that they even bought the land in the first place for that reason.
Yeah.
When, you know, the wall was not freaking built.
It did get built.
No, it didn't. Yeah. That never happened. Where is the wall?
There's a wall.
There's no wall.
It's slate. It's slats, but there's a wall.
There's no wall. Come on. And make it 10 feet higher.
Guys, is there a wall? Let everybody know.
Thank you. There was like 100 miles of like fence. That was literally all that was built. I don't know where you got the idea that there was a wall.
Haven't you seen the videos of the people trying to climb the large slats, the large metal slats?
There was like about 100 miles of steel fencing.
There's like a bunch of it that doesn't connect, but like there was stuff that got built. It's just that
for like 100 miles.
When Biden took office, he then put an executive order in to stop the production because Trump got the funding through alternate means.
Yeah, that's there's no wall though.
I mean, it was never going to be an actual wall. It was going to be the slats.
I wouldn't say that's true.
They were like they're huge metal pieces and they're next to each other. You just can't get through them.
That's not a wall though.
Well, that's
a fence.
That's a semantic argument.
Sure.
It's a semantic argument. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. I think that Elon should win just because I'm being petty and I don't want Cards Against Humanity to win because their press release was.
I want
so
them
annoying.
both to lose.
That's what I want to happen.
How about they both lose?
Well, then the way they both lose is if Elon drags it out in court. And he ends up having to pay at the end, but they lose a bunch of money from just having to sit in court for a period of time. And the money that they win in the lawsuit isn't enough to recoup what they lost from spending money on the lawsuit.
Give the land they back to the whatever native tribe had it before Cards Against Humanity because they are actually the real colonizers.
All right, let's go. Let's move on. So Janet Jackson, this was another one of those whirlwind stories where something came out and then something came out right after and then something came out right after and you kind of get poisoned by the speed of the news cycle.
Well, allow me to decode this for everyone. Janet Jackson got in big trouble over the weekend because in a recent interview with The Guardian, she accused Kamala Harris of faking being black.
I mean, like, accused even sounds like she wasn't accusing. She was just like, yeah, I don't know. I heard that she wasn't. Like, she sounded like she half pays attention, but unfortunately was talking about it.
Half committed to telling the media that Kamala is not really black. So here is her quote from that interview. Well, you know what they supposedly said? She's not black. That's what I heard. That she's Indian. And when informed that Kamala Harris is both black and Indian, Janet Jackson pushed back, asserting that her father is neither. She said her father is white. That's what I was told.
But that's not true.
I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. So,
but her dad wasn't white.
Her dad was not in fact white, but that's what Janet Jackson heard, and you can't just invalidate what she heard, Brett. So after this, people got really pissed off at Janet Jackson, and she was getting a ton of backlash. So one of her representatives put an apology out for her, just to do her a favor.
Without her permission. Without her permission
or knowledge. This guy just gave an apology on her behalf just to, help her out. Mm-hmm. So this guy is a man named Mo El-Masri, who has now been fired by Janet Jackson, by the way. Here's his apology. Janet Jackson would like to clarify her recent comments. She recognizes that her statements regarding Vice President Kamala Harris's racial identity were based on misinformation. Janet respects Harris's dual heritage as both black and Indian and apologizes for any confusion caused. She values the diversity that Harris represents and understands the importance of celebrating that in today's society. Janet remains committed to promoting unity and understanding.
There should be a law that when you make a public statement that you have to walk back, right? Like you make some public statement that angers everyone. The tone of your apology should be in the same exact tone as the statement you made initially. Yes. So she should be like, oh, I guess I was wrong, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't have a polished apology to like a dumb comment. You should have a dumb apology to a dumb comment.
Well, she like blasphemed against Kamala Harris's heritage. So she needed to be raked over the coals for it. Yeah. But after this guy put out the fake apology, the fake statement that she knew nothing about, Janet Jackson fired him. And she's actually been managed by her brother, Randy Jackson, for many years. And now they've gotten a further clarification from El-Masri. He said, I no longer work for her. I was fired by Janet and Randy after attempts to improve her image in front of public opinion and her fans. And this is something I don't deserve. But he offers all his support to Vice President Harris. Now, Janet Jackson's reps haven't said anything except for, this was unauthorized, and she does not walk back what she said. Which is something she shouldn't need to walk back in the first place, because she didn't say anything. She just said, like, oh, I heard this. Doesn't mean I believe this.
Yeah.
And even if she said that, who cares?
Also,
do we really care what Janet Jackson thinks about Kamala Harris and whether she's black?
His job wouldn't be to just make a statement outright. His job would be to craft a statement with her approval. So he wasn't doing his job.
Yeah, like, what are they paying this guy for in the first place? How do I get a fake job like that?
Well, then you got to be sure, like, you got to kind of figure out when to make your statements, because if you make one too quickly and you weren't given permission, then you could lose your job. That's a problem.
Well, that's unfortunately what happened to him. So,
based for not walking it back, though.
I don't even know what there is to walk back, dude. It's like,
I guess I was wrong.
How old is this lady, by the way? How old is Janet Jackson?
She's got to be in her 60s now, right? 50s or 60s?
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, I think a brother, an older brother of hers just died. Recently. Yes, Tito died last Sunday at the age of 70. So she's like literally mourning her family member right now, and she has the media harassing her to like validate Kamala Harris's chameleon race.
That changes every couple of weeks. Again, but I talking about that always seems like such a waste of time, because it's not convincing anyone who or what to vote for. So it just feels like a waste of your time to spend any of your energy on it.
We got another big super chat from Just 'Cause I'm Free. Thank you. Has everyone forgot when Kamala Harris said she was Indian when she was cooking with Mindy Kaling? Kamala is Jamaican and Indian. Black isn't an ethnicity. Well, I think only some people like Tariq Nasheed care about the details of whether Kamala Harris is black, honestly. He said, good, Janet has nothing to apologize for. Kamala Harris is not a foundational black American. She is an East Indian. So he's saying she shouldn't, get the black vote because she's not a foundational black American. Again, aka descended from slaves.
These are, in a lot of ways, wedge issue distractions that don't help anybody.
No one actually cares. No. Then, like, obviously she's going to be getting the black vote. Like
as soon as people start spending any amount of time on this, I'm like, it's a waste of time and energy.
It was funny when Trump mentioned it, though.
Yes.
At the debate.
She's 58.
Janet Jackson or Kamala?
Janet Jackson. 58. That's what Shane Schwalber says. So there you have it. But
she's too old and too rich to give any Fs.
Yeah, she's like, I don't look at the internet on my phone.
Yeah, like,
I don't do that.
She maybe listens to like CNN on mute.
Yeah, she listens to it on mute. She just likes to watch the body language.
Yeah, she just does like body language analysis.
All right, what is this thing with Selena Gomez?
So Selena Gomez was recently at some kind of gala dinner for women in Hollywood, and she addressed those who criticize her for being open and vulnerable about her personal struggles, including her struggles with infertility and autoimmune disorders. So let's just watch the video.
Okay.
People when you need help and when you want help. That is not shameful. So yeah, I shared that I can't carry a child. Yeah, I shared I have bipolar. Fuck off.
Somehow I can identify the sound of a woman clapping over the sound of a man clapping.
What does that mean?
It means that everything that you're hearing there is the sound of women saying, bipolar, yeah!
Thank you.
A man would not, an actual man would not applaud mental illness so readily.
Most of them. Maybe in Hollywood they would be applauding.
The men that she probably hangs out with would.
Yeah, but it's like
that's the, you know what it is? That's the same clap you hear at an MLM scam in a hotel, like in a hotel convention center.
I love the memes about like that girl from high school messaging you for the first time in 7 years to like invite you to her MLM conference. And she's like, hey, girly pop, you look unemployed. You look poor. Do you need a job? Because I have a job.
I love it. I mean, and look, those go back decades and decades and decades. You know, women selling beauty products is a tale as old as men scamming money at the stock market, right?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I just want to get back to
Yes.
Bipolar queen.
Advocate for women, and that's why I share. That's why I like to be honest. honest because everybody's going through something. I don't have it all put together. I'm not whatever. I'm me, and that's all I can be. So do not ever let anyone tell you that you are not a good person, you are kind, that you
She looks like she's never touched another person in her life. There.
You is kind, you is smart, you is
that's
beautiful.
not lame. That is so cool, you guys. And that is the fact. So screw anyone who tells you you're a victim, you're a survivor in my life.
Women in the West.
I don't know what it is about this. It just bothers me.
It's a rich Western woman speaking to likely other rich Western women about being survivors and how you should just applaud your mental illness under the guise of acceptance.
Under the guise of like vulnerability, but it's not.
Also, it's a weird type of 52-second humble brag.
Where's
she just at the beginning where
what's the humble brag?
She's like, I just like to share. And it's the way she's talking. I'm such a good person.
Like I like to share that I have mental illness because I'm such a good person. I'm just like helping other people feel seen and heard.
There's also a disconnect here because I do like to point out all the time, like, look, just because somebody's rich does not mean that they don't have their own problems. Obviously, we've seen time and time again, rich celebrities end up with drug problems, and
they have a lot of problems.
There's a lot of things that go wrong in their lives. So it's not like those problems don't exist. It's that when you share these videos with the general public who can't afford groceries, they're like, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but it sounds kind of stupid.
Right.
Doesn't mean the problems aren't real. It just means that, much like the Harrison Butker video, this probably wasn't meant for me to see.
Yeah, should have stayed private.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, I feel like most of what Selena Gomez specifically has gotten backlash for is the fact that she repeatedly quits social media.
She's a bitch.
And then comes back 2 weeks later. Actually, not 2 weeks later, like 2 hours later, so that she can get the last word. Yeah. So she's clearly not as, balanced and stable as she would lead you to believe.
Do you think that's a good indicator of stability? Is like how often you delete your social media accounts, or even just how often you post and then delete? Like, I do actually see that a certain way. Like, if you post and delete a lot, it means you have an emotional dysregulation where you can't hold on to an idea and contemplate whether you need to post it for long enough to just hold off, decide what is the response to this going to be, and if the response is bad, do I care enough about it to leave it up?
The drafts exist for a reason. Drafts are a very important feature on Instagram and Twitter.
Yep.
And then once you've calmed down and you're not in the middle of the outrage cycle anymore, you can revisit what you wanted to say and just evaluate if that's something that you want to say publicly. Done it many times.
In the chat, David says, I hope that Selena will be able to conceive a child someday. I think she said that she can't.
She said that she is not able to carry a child. I think that it's not that she cannot conceive. Unfortunately,
she can't carry
it's
a child
that
to
she
term.
Has been told by doctors she would miscarry if she tried to carry to term. So that's, the sad reality. I think it's related to her lupus diagnosis.
Okay.
But I don't know all the details.
Again.
But I'm sure she would be willing to share them.
The average person just sees this stuff and they're just like, look, I can't, I don't get it.
No, I just, you're sitting
it looks like an airport bar.
Yeah,
like
you're sitting in what looks like an airport bar with a bunch of other rich people, and you're wearing these like shoulder pads.
Like you're a billionaire. Like
drinking wine, and you're talking about how you have bipolar, and it's just.
I would rather a celebrity just kind of embrace the rich. Like when
being out of touch.
When Jeff Bezos goes out and buys yachts and does expensive things, I'm like, good for him.
I forget that sometimes. Selena Gomez is actually a billionaire, and she became a billionaire before Taylor Swift did, I think.
Yes, she did.
Which is really impressive.
Yep.
So she must be pretty high functioning.
See, my conspiracy theory is, seriously, every woman that wants to make money in Hollywood, if you want to become a billionaire, do the smart thing and sell makeup.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my conspiracy is that women are going to start getting doctor's notes to say they can't have kids so that they can have surrogates without backlash from the public.
Yeah, possibly, but I don't know if there's that significant of a backlash for it to be a problem for them.
I like the
Like, it's so common already.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're going to start doing. Like, I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. As the doctor, I've got a note.
Well, it's because of my mental health. I can't carry a child because of my mental health.
I just saw this like tweet that was going viral. It could be fake for all I know. And it was like a list of rules at an office. It says we no longer accept doctor's notes for sick days. Like if you
can go to the doctor, you can go to work.
Go to work. That like
I think that was like, I hope that was a parody. But
it's got to be bait, right?
Dane was so pressed because he just was like, I know Boomer typed that up and felt so smug about it.
It felt fake to me.
It's definitely fake. It's got to be fake.
All right.
That's illegal.
What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
How about you decide today?
All right, we'll start with cringe. I always say start with cringe. That works for me. All right, you sent me this. It says Snapchat of is that Jeremy? They spelled it weird.
It's Jeremy Fragrance.
Jeremy Fragrance shooting his shot is going viral, allegedly. Here we go.
Hey, Anna-Marie, are you still interested in me? Because I didn't hear from you since quite some time, and I'm actually deleting more and more of the people that had contact with me. So I'm still interested in you, and I would like to have 1, 2, or even 3 children. And what about you?
He's very forward.
I mean, he also, for being as forward as he didn't really have a good exit strategy from that. He's like, how about you? Click. He's like, I would like 1, 2, or possibly even 3 children. How about you? Click.
Bye.
Like, wait, I got to see this again.
That's just what he says to all the girls.
He even kind of does the millennial pause at the beginning. He does like it's as
he
if
needs to check his face card.
It's as if Zoolander did a millennial pause.
Actually, I do feel kind of bad because you can hear all the chicks laughing at him at the end. And this guy is just trying to put his heart out there and find love.
Okay, I don't know who this guy is. Who's Jeremy Fragrance?
He's one of the lol cows.
Okay.
He actually like started out because he made perfume and cologne reviews on YouTube.
Well, that name makes perfect sense then.
Yeah, but it's kind of spiraled from there. So he's looking for a wife. He's looking for the mother of his children.
K Media,
if anyone's interested.
K Media says, I've never seen so much Riz and Aura at once.
He is Aura.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I'm sure he smells great.
I didn't know people still use Snapchat.
I didn't either, but apparently they do, and it's horrifying.
Right.
I think if you ask a girl for her Snapchat instead of her number, or at the very least, like Instagram or something, like you're a man child.
No, number.
Even the number, it's like if you just met somebody that might be a little too much.
No.
But what else is there? I mean,
you have to like. No, like look, if we're talking about like symbolism and what a sign means, does asking for someone's Instagram mean anything other than sex?
Okay. I just mean if you have no mutual friends, if you met outside of any like normal context and this person is essentially still a stranger, I would feel a little bit weird about giving someone my number. I would.
Like, he's like, hey, send me your, like, she's like, no, I'll take your phone number because you're less likely to text me a dick pic than you are to send me a dick pic on Instagram.
I think this means everyone should have 2 phones.
I'm always weirded out by that. Like, I mean, there's infinite number of like reasons for that now with companies giving their employees phones for work. But it used to be a thing where like if a cop saw you had 2 phones back in the day, you were a drug dealer.
It's a great song, by the way.
You were a drug dealer.
Shout out Kevin Gates. Yeah. That was a bop. But yeah, don't ask women for their Snapchat. If you do that, you are a man child.
Just get the phone number.
Just get the phone number.
Ask for the phone number. I'm telling you, don't even do Instagram. Ask for the phone number.
Yeah, you're right. Like take the plunge.
It indicates something very specific.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in having casual conversations at midnight with you. I want to actually talk to you in a meaningful way.
I can only imagine just the astronomical snap score that Jeremy Fragrance must have. Huge red flag. But I hope he finds love.
All right, let's go ahead and let's do the cute of the day. It's always better to end after cute of the day.
And it wasn't Moo Deng.
It was not Moo Deng.
That was
today.
like our pregame.
Alex Huff. This is adorable. It says Scooby Snacks. It says Charlie is done terrorizing the groomers. Who knows? Might F around and find out.
Love the bandana.
It is awesome. That is very cute. All right, let's do one more here. Actually, click that off. We did that one already.
Yes.
Sometimes get doubled up. All right, this is from David E. Gray. Says, Bear, my happy and handsome 14-year-old rescue man.
He's named Bear.
Bear is a good. Bear was the name of the dog in Person of Interest. Because at the beginning, when he gets the dog, he eats a bunch of bearer bonds, so they call him Bear.
I just like when small dogs have really intimidating
Bear
names like that. I think it's cute.
All right, let's move on then, shall we? Let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with Paramore. Again, I didn't listen to Paramore, so you're going to have to, other than the big song that was super famous and the fact that she stopped playing it for a while, right?
Right.
Yeah,
we've talked about that.
Okay, so
before.
let's talk about why she had to just like add a random PSA in the middle of a song.
Yeah, so at a recent concert at the iHeartRadio Music Festival, Hayley Williams, the lead singer of Paramore, decided to interrupt everything, stop the show, go up to a camera at the front of the stage, and yell into the camera a denunciation of Donald Trump and his dangerous Project 2025 agenda off of very clearly a DNC-created script. So let's take a look at that video. It's like our cringe of the day, too. Electric Boogaloo.
Here we go.
Project 2025 is Donald Trump's playbook for controlling and punishing women, poor people, people of color, and the LGBTQ plus community.
She forgot the IA.
You forgot IA plus.
She forgot the second plus.
Time for all Americans to band together and to finally defeat the Trump agenda. And the only way to do that is by confronting him at the polls. Do you want to live in a dictatorship? Well, show up and vote. Yeah.
I love the idea that you can vote your way out of a dictatorship. Okay.
That would be a first in history, actually. And you can see in this video here that while she was recording this tirade, there is a guy off camera literally holding up a script for her to read off of.
She has great eyesight.
She must.
She has fantastic eyesight.
Impressive.
And she doesn't really look at the camera very much, or at the script very much.
It is time for all Americans to band together and to finally defeat the Trump agenda. And the only way to do that is by confronting him at the polls. Do you want to live in a dictatorship? Well, show up and vote. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm sorry. A woman finger wagging at you is never going to be cool.
No, it's not.
Literally going like this, like a
Especially
school
when-
teacher who is scolding you.
She also looks like a Smurf, which doesn't help.
Yeah, what is this fit?
Yeah.
I usually love Hayley Williams' outfits when she's on tour. I think she's really cute and has a great sense of style, but this was not it.
Yeah. You know what it is to me? We were talking about this off air in a different context, but she's grown into the woman where if you were out skating a handrail at a private business and there was nobody there, she would come over to tell you to leave.
This has strong...
Even though she doesn't work there.
Hayley Williams is displaying some very strong Karen energy here. And she needs to reevaluate like her delivery.
Yeah, like I picture her after yelling at me for skating on property that she doesn't own. She would go to a restaurant where she would yell at the waiter consistently until the end of the dinner, and then leave a very small tip.
Do you think that this was her idea?
No, I think that she got paid for it.
By the DNC?
Is that so hard to believe?
Like the DNC proposed this to her and like paid her to read this off on stage.
I mean, at the very least, if not paid her, she willingly works with them, and it's DNC sponsored. I don't picture her spending much time on Microsoft Word typing this out before the show.
On a literal typewriter, she's like typing this up, like letter by letter.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is why it's so effective for them. It's kind of it works. We see it as cringe, but it works. Much like, remember on Friday we were watching the lady doing the Catholic song right? And it was really cringy. She had the flashcards, right? Like that.
Yeah.
This is their version of that cringe, but it unfortunately reaches a hell of a lot more people.
Right.
It reaches way more people.
I remember back in 2023 when the Republican primary race was still going, Haley Williams made a statement, very scathing comment about Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
And I replied to it saying like, oh, we love a Trump supporting pop punk queen.
Yeah.
But now that, Trump is in the lead, she needed to make her statement and get her paycheck, get that bag.
This is I think that maybe this indicates the worst of my black pill. Oh, there's a 20 there.
Just because I'm free said, Haley Williams says, don't vote for Trump. I say, bitch, I'm just trying to afford food. Yeah.
Look, this indicates the worst of my doomerist black pill tendencies, which is like, you can care all you want, but when 10,000 famous celebrities who each have millions of followers keep just lying about Project 2025, which has been infinitely debunked by him in person during interviews and debates, where he says, I'm not doing that, and they just lie anyways, and people don't go to find out that they're lying. I don't care anymore because I don't have it in me to care and get that angry anymore, because you cannot change the mind of a world that's asleep.
And meanwhile, like, John McEntee is over here like, if guns kill people, I guess forks make you fat.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think there are a lot of people
They're doing they're doing the same thing about the Trump abortion ban.
Yes, they have their taglines, they have their script.
Maybe I'm the bad guy here, but I can't bring myself to constantly get angry and care about this, because and I'm sorry to say this, guys, as an individual, it's a losing battle. You know the idea of the happy warrior? That's not me. That's not me. I can't happily fight back.
I'm the extremely dejected not warrior.
I cannot happily fight back against a bunch of people who willingly feed you misinformation while unironically yelling at you about misinformation. It just makes me too angry.
Well, I presume that Haley Williams is, performing this tirade to an audience of people who are already voting for Kamala in the first place. So maybe it won't actually make a dent. But I think there are a lot of people out there who would be like, oh, you wouldn't catch me dead at a Paramore show. I'm the person that you would catch me dead at a Paramore show. Yeah. Like, I do. And
you're like over there like, what is this dangerous Project 2025? I better go look it up.
I'm very intrigued.
The Heritage Foundation.
If I were there, I would be kind of pissed off that you're like using screen time, you're using stage time at an event I paid to watch you perform at, to go on a screed against a political candidate. Like, you're actually stealing my money. I'm actually watching you throw my money into a furnace by doing this.
It was like when everyone got mad at Adam Lambert for talking about gay rights at
I think it was actually
Christmas, or David Archuleta.
Yeah, it was David Archuleta, the even more washed up American Idol guy.
He kept talking about LGBTQ rights at Christmas concerts, and everyone's like, look, we're just here for the Christmas concert. It doesn't really have anything to do with that. And I would be willing to bet that, most of that audience isn't conservative in the extreme and don't really care. They just want to, it would be like me watching The Chosen, then all of a sudden Jesus turns to the hard cam and starts talking to me about abortion. But from the DNC, right?
Yeah, and funnily enough, this came up last week when I was on IRL. We were talking about musicians and their shift away from Christianity and sometimes their own roots being raised in conservative families. I think Chappell Roan is a huge example of that, but Haley Williams is as well. And I wanted to find out once and for all, is or was Paramore a Christian band? Because I think the band members have been outspoken about the fact that they were raised, at least culturally Christian, raised in the South in relatively conservative families and social circles. But understandably, once they, got more successful, started touring the country and the world, and being exposed to just the obviously extreme radical left positions in the entertainment industry they're a part of, they shifted away from that, and it became far less fashionable to be even implicitly Christian.
Well, yeah, I mean, like,
as musicians,
even if you're not even a politically aligned person who's their manager or their agent, not even if you're a liberal or a leftist, you just say, look, you need to appeal to the largest market demographic you can, and shifting away from this theoretically will help you.
Well, back in like the mid 2000s, whenever Paramore was like first coming up, it actually wasn't a huge problem for a band, especially an alternative like pop punk band, to have some Christian themes in their songs, like Flyleaf, for instance. And there were a lot of metalcore bands
Anberlin
that I was talking about too, like Under Oath. The lead singer of Under Oath actually came out later and said that, Christianity ruined his life or something. So all of these people who once were very publicly, outspokenly Christian have made the decision to distance themselves from that or openly denounce it. So I went to their Wikipedia. It says the band members of Paramore identified themselves as Christians in the past. And in an interview with the BBC, Josh Farrow stated, quote, "Our faith is very important to us. It's obviously going to come out in our music, because if someone believes something, then their worldview is going to come out in anything they do. But we're not out here to preach to kids. We're out here because we love music." He later cited differing views on Christianity between him, his brother, and Hayley Williams as one of the reasons for their departure from the band in 2010. In an interview in 2022, Hayley Williams described herself, York, and Zach Farrow as being, quote, "at different stages of unraveling their relationship to faith." And she has kind of stepped back from even identifying as Christian. Most of her fans now believe that she believes in a higher power and is spiritual.
Well, I bet you that annoys you even more than if she was an atheist.
Actually, yes. Yeah. Yes, it does. And then I think during like the pandemic period,
I knew that would annoy you way more than if she was an atheist.
Yeah, because it's like you want to play both sides.
Yeah.
But I think like a few years back, she was talking about voting once again and how that is related to your faith. And she made this statement like, just because you're Christian doesn't mean you have to like vote a certain way. And she said in her caption, "Men who can't condemn racist actions, beliefs, or lifestyles are not pro-life." Like, if you're voting for Kamala Harris, like, you're not pro-life. Like, I'm sorry, that's just not, you can't claim that label.
By their logic, nobody should be voting for Tim Walz. Did you see that photo of him with his staff? It was like the whitest staff photo I've ever seen in my entire life. They're all just hypocrites.
So not diverse.
It's one thing to use the diversity card if it's an actually diverse staff. It's another thing to just use it as a platitude, which is why you're better off just not using it at all.
Now all of their religion is just like,
focus on hiring the right people.
It costs $0 to just be a good effing person and not be an asshole. That's literally their religion.
That one falls apart when you realize it costs $0 to also just be an asshole. So, I laugh at that one because that might be one of the early indicators. One of the things that me and you talk about a lot on here is how much platitudes annoy us. Or at least for me specifically, when I have to listen to a speech where it's just a bunch of rambling platitudes that don't actually indicate any idea of what they actually think and feel, I think back to what I think of as like the original, which is the "be kind" sticker on cars, or "be kind" at a house. You just know that the person who wrote "be kind" is the meanest mother you've ever met when they don't get their way.
Yeah.
Right? But here's the problem. "Be kind" is actually a phrase that's perfect for zealotry and ideologues, because to them, you don't need to be kind if you're doing so in the service of making sure that society is kinder, because you are anointed. You're allowed to not follow your own rules because you're doing so for, quote, the greater good.
Yes. The ends justify the means, and as long as you are fighting for...
And both sides are guilty of that notion of the ends justifying the means.
Well,
but in this case, we're not
like,
speaking about political sides. I'm just saying anybody who uses that phrase.
As for like speaking in platitudes, though, it doesn't matter who it is. I am annoyed by it.
Yes,
Even
exactly.
if it's somebody that I'm more ideologically aligned with, if you are saying something without meaning anything, I believe you are a liar. Because you're manipulating language to speak at length without actually stating anything, without actually taking a stance that is unique to you, that originated in your brain, that came from somebody else.
That's getting harder and harder.
That's almost just lying.
It's getting harder and harder these days because most people don't sit with their ideas. What it is that you basically collect an amalgamation of ideas because you are read on the subject, right? Or in this case, watched, because you watched a bunch of stuff about it, and that's fine. But then what it is like, and I think everyone is a little bit guilty of this, is that you cultivate a bunch of different sources, which is where you get your information from, and you pick and choose which ideas between all of those sources you tend to agree with. Now, there's a difference between finding ideas that you agree with and formulating unique thoughts, okay? And at the pace news moves these days, it's very hard. In fact, the people who are very, very good at it are more exceptional than they get credit for, because most people don't have the time to sit there with an idea and then write out in a completely nuanced take on what they believe on it. What it is they listen to 10 people and they find a couple ideas they like from each person. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. It just means that they interact with the ideas differently than somebody who may look at a general topic and then start sourcing what they think about it in their own brain.
Well, far too many people are looking to entertainers like Haley Williams, for instance, to form a consensus on what is acceptable to believe. And that's just the latest example of it. Celebrities, every single day, there's a new headline of someone saying the exact same thing, touting the exact same script. I don't think that you could differentiate what Haley Williams just said from what Billie Eilish and her brother Phineas said last week.
Exactly.
It's literally the same script.
It's the dangerous
They are not
Project
worth listening to.
2025 agenda.
Yes, it's very dangerous.
All right.
Let's get into super chats. Earlier, a man named Brett Dasovic sent us a testing.
Yes,
message.
I was trying to fix the crisis meter, guys. It does look to be fixed though, so I'm gonna give
we're
myself
okay.
a pat on the back for that.
Yeah, you deserve it. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Manic Monday, Brett and Mary. Mary, I think we are getting to Brett. He started watching The Chosen. Soon he's gonna be asking about mass times."
Look, The Chosen is lit, okay? Jesus is lit.
Do you want to give your mini review, or maybe you should wait until you finish the first season and then
I'm 5 episodes in and I'm quite enjoying it a lot. I don't know what to say other than I'm explaining it to, and then I'm hearing back oh, that's this. It's I was like, oh, and then a bunch of fish just appear on the boat. It's yeah, because he fed a village. I'm like, oh, that makes perfect sense. I like it a lot. I think first of all, it's got fantastic score. It's really, really, really good. And it is kind of like watching if the Bible was a soap opera.
I think I kind of love that. I didn't get past the first episode. I think.
Is it Eden?
We got a 20. Sorry, from Francisco Sanchez Jr. I was raised middle class. I know what it is like to be middle class. We can do this together. Kamala Harris. Probably also Haley Williams, Oprah Winfrey, so on and so on, since they read from the same script.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Look, one of my favorite.
I don't know.
One of my favorite things about The Chosen, guys, is there's this scene early on where I think her name's Eden. Is she the one that's married to Simon? To Simon Peter, and she's mad at him for something, and she's angrily cutting vegetables, and I'm even thousands of years ago, women communicated in the exact same way.
Maybe they didn't.
And
Maybe
then
they
she's
just
kind of
wrote that
passive.
in.
She's kind of passive aggressive, and she's like, it's fine.
I mean, you said she was chopping a cucumber.
She was chopping some vegetable very angrily.
I'm I don't know what seasonal produce they had.
A very pointed silence that filled the room. Even back then, women could fill a room with angry, passive-aggressive silence. It was amazing.
I think the way that you're watching The Chosen is the absolute best way that anyone could watch The Chosen, because
Having not read
I've
the
seen
Bible.
so much controversy and debate over the creative liberties that they took and which ones are okay and which ones aren't.
Yeah.
And it's just like, at the end of the day, it's just a TV show.
Bro, Jesus shows up at the
It's a
end of
TV
episode 1 like Iron Man. Like I wanted the Avengers theme to play in the background as he saves this woman from damnation. It's amazing. They just like I bet you there's actually videos online of people overlaying like the Avengers score over any time Jesus appears on screen.
I don't know when the next season is coming out or if it's premiering right now. I have no idea because I have not kept up, but maybe the next time that they're putting out new episodes, we could do like some reviews for it, because you said not a lot of people are reviewing it on YouTube.
Like from what Wesley was telling me, like a lot of it is like there's a couple of very, very popular show like channels that review it. But yeah, look, every time Matthew is on screen, I'm like, get the little tax collector off my screen. I don't want to see him anywhere near here. I don't care.
Don't worry, he has a big character arc.
I can tell. They're building him up for more.
Yeah,
So
it's exciting.
It's as close as I've gotten to like binging a show in a very long time.
Nice.
So, all right, let's
did a
do
good job.
one more super chat and then we'll move on.
Potatoes for Seamus said, "Bad Brett, no money embezzlement." That's what you were doing.
Yes.
You were embezzling money through the company.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about what's going on with the Menendez brothers.
Yes.
Oh, but before we start, there's a 20 there.
Just because I'm free said, "So where can I stream The Chosen?"
The Chosen is on a bunch of different streamers. I'm watching it on Peacock, but I believe it's also on Amazon Prime and on Netflix. So you can...
It might even be on their website, or maybe that was just for the first couple.
Yeah. So go and check that out. But yeah, I heard the source material's lit.
Yeah. Okay, Ryan Murphy is directing a true crime drama anthology for Netflix titled Monster. It started with the first season focused on Jeffrey Dahmer, which was a huge success for Netflix, but also plagued with its own controversies about Jeffrey Dahmer. And now the next season has come out. It's focused on the Menendez brothers and their murder of their parents back in 1989. And he's getting a lot of backlash right now, not only for taking creative liberties that ignore the true facts of the situation, but also taking creative liberties that are quite disrespectful to Eric and Lyle Menendez, these brothers, just as human beings and people who were, at least allegedly, victims of heinous crimes in their own right at the hands of their parents, especially their father. So I saw a lot of people sending hate tweets to Ryan Murphy over this. Essentially, what he's done with this show is heavily imply, if not explicitly show, an incestuous relationship between Eric and Lyle that, according to them, it never happened. It just factually isn't true. And Ryan Murphy is portraying their motive for killing their parents as a way to keep their incestuous relationship a secret.
Yeah.
Which is just so far-fetched in the first place.
And Eric Menendez has replied to the series. His wife posted it, right?
Yeah, somehow this has, word has gotten back to him. Both of these brothers are still currently serving life sentences with no possibility of parole. For murdering their parents. And I actually didn't know a lot of the details of this case because, I'm not really a true crime person.
And it was
but
before your time.
It was also before my time.
They're heavily referenced in early Criminal Minds episodes, obviously. So
at the time, prosecutors argued that Eric and Lyle were motivated to kill their parents for money. And then also their own lawyers argued it was because they were worried the parents were plotting to kill them if the secret of their abuse from their early childhood came out.
And if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong about this, so somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they tried them each separately, and both of them resulted in mistrials or hung juries. And then when they tried them together, the prosecution got the history of abuse thrown out, like they weren't allowed to hear about it.
The judge dismissed any evidence of their abuse in the case, which is why they got convicted with such a severe sentence. Thank you. Tonal issues.
Tonal issues on the show, guys.
We love tonal
If you're new to the show and you're just watching this segment, it's part of the live show. Every time we get $100 in Super Chats, a crisis party is triggered. There.
Please excuse us.
Please excuse us
for that.
Let's continue.
Thank you, guys. Here are a couple of takes. Glamour put out an article saying the Menendez brothers' incest plot in Monsters shows the true crime machine has gone too far. To satisfy our insatiable hunger for true crime, TV shows are embellishing trauma for added shock factor. Yeah. And I have to agree, true crime has gone too far. And people forget that these are real stories that involve real victims. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's not just the victims, but the perpetrators who are getting caught up in this mess and really not having a say in the way that their story is told.
Yeah.
And they are more sympathetic than most perpetrators of these crimes because, like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, she was also, abused for her entire childhood and misled to believe that she had, a whole host of illnesses and disabilities. And I truly believe that by the time Gypsy Rose plotted her mother's murder, she believed she had no other way out. Yeah. That's at least what I think. And it sounds to me like, sure, you can't make a TV show where Eric and Lyle Menendez are just total angels, right? Yeah. But you also can't totally villainize them either.
Well, the big issue was what? That they spent a bunch of money after their parents died. And
yes, they allegedly went on a spending spree that amounted to about $700,000. I think they said Eric bought a Rolex and a Porsche. They were traveling all over the place. But here's the thing. They lived in a mansion in Beverly Hills. They grew up very privileged. Their father, Jose, was a record executive in LA. And by the way, had access to a lot of talent by way of his job. And allegedly even abused one of these teenage pop stars that he was in contact with due to his job. But yeah, they lived an extremely privileged lifestyle before that. Therefore, and also they claimed they had no knowledge of getting any inheritance. So they had no motivation to kill their parents for money.
Let's actually talk about the idea of sympathy for the murderers, because look, this is something that gets brought up all the time. A lot of people in like when the talk of the death penalty comes up or what should happen, it's very rarely about what people think should happen to murderers. It's about what people think should happen to PDF files, which is what would be happening here. Not just incestuous behavior on the father's part, but the molestation of his own children. If that is indeed what happened, again, I don't know if that's ever been confirmed or proven.
Two family members corroborated
so
them.
The idea is that a lot of people believe that, if anybody deserves the death penalty, it's those types of people. So, sympathy might be something that people who feel that way will feel will feel towards them. I don't know whether that's actually true or not, or if it's actually proven, but that's what it feels like people would actually take that side on. But a lot of people haven't heard that corner of the argument.
As far as I know, 2 family members corroborated their accusations against their father. And they also had photo evidence allegedly taken by their father of them as children, basically CP images taken of them by their father. So that was the physical evidence.
Did those pictures ever come to light?
Well, they weren't allowed to present them as evidence in court because the judge made the decision to dismiss that. This article continued saying, in the many articles written about this case in the decades since, the suggestion of an illicit affair between the brothers has never seriously been included as part of their story, much less them killing their parents out of fear they would expose the sordid relationship, as this series posits. During the trials, Lyle Menendez, the older brother, admitted that he once sexually abused Eric, the younger brother, but he claimed it was something taught to him by their father, and he made a tearful apology for doing so. And they emphasized it's important not to trauma mine real people's lives purely for entertainment and to feed viewers increasing appetite for greater shock. And at the expense of a widely popular and profitable series, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, I think they're right. I think that it is hurtful to the family members of victims, and in this case, it's, you know, their spouses even.
I think a lot of people will just take the point, like, look, without extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, so it's easy to make a claim, but if you can't back it up, and that's kind of the insidious nature of these types of things, is without proof, you know, a lot of people are going to have a hard time, you know, signing on to the idea that they're sympathetic, but having the proof is almost impossible to come by. So,
of course, I mean, allegedly,
this is for the most reason why this is for the most part why I'm anti-death penalty, because I don't trust the state to adjudicate these types of things, considering the state is as corrupt as it is. And outside of a confession, you know, a non-coerced confession and video proof of something happening, I don't trust the state to legislate this type, you know, to adjudicate this type of stuff. I don't.
Well, then you would argue that they would never have the ability to put Jose Menendez in prison for it because there's no evidence, which is
I'm saying
honestly,
the death penalty. I think that
so they can imprison someone, but not impose the death penalty.
I don't think that
we're getting into dicey territory with YouTube TOS right now, but I think that that's a whole other can of worms. I'm just talking about, like, is it acceptable? Like, are we okay with basically, you know, selling this person's story who is in prison, and telling a completely fictionalized account that you know, turns them into an unambiguous villain, when allegedly this person was the victim of the most heinous thing you can imagine?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not okay with that, actually. And I don't even want to watch a show about that. I don't find that tantalizing. I find it quite disgusting.
I mean, most people aren't looking at this as if they're real people anyways.
Yeah.
They've been turned into caricatures via Hollywood for so long that when you hear these types of things, it's like when you think of Son of Sam or you think of any of these serial killers, they don't even feel like real people as much as they do feel like a character that's been in multiple worlds, you know, through the lens of multiple directors.
But then it's like, if you're going to just make things up, Ryan Murphy, you know, make a new show, right? Like, make a fictional story that you can inspire. Like, say that it's inspired perhaps by them, but not actually about them. Like, they did that, I think, in American Horror Story, Murder House, where they made a character that was, like, inspired by one of the Columbine shooters.
Murder House.
But was not actually about... Like, it was not actually him.
But what has had longer staying power in people's mind's eye? Dahmer, the Monsters show about Dahmer, or that?
When I see the reactions from the family members of Dahmer's victims, I just can't, like, get on board with that. And I can't feel okay about watching that. Now, over the weekend, Eric Menendez, his wife, actually shared his statement about the series. I don't think he's had any ability to watch it, but he's been told about it. Here is what he says. I believed we had moved beyond the lies and ruinous character portrayals of Lyle, creating a caricature of Lyle rooted in horrible and blatant lies rampant in the show. I can only believe they were done so on purpose. It's with a heavy heart that I say I believe Ryan Murphy cannot be this naive and inaccurate about the facts of our lives so as to do this without bad intent. It's sad for me to know that Netflix's dishonest portrayal of the tragedies surrounding our crime have taken the painful truth several steps backward, back through time to an era when the prosecution built a narrative on a belief system that males were not sexually abused and that males experienced rape trauma differently than women. And that is actually word for word a quote from one of the prosecution lawyers was saying that men literally cannot be raped. Like, she actually said that. And I'm sure at the time it was a far more broadly accepted belief.
I mean, I thought that was connected to, because rape required the idea of penetration. And
that's literally what she said. She said men can't. She literally said men can't be raped.
I mean, that's insane if you really think about it.
It is insane.
What's happening is at the hands of another man,
and the fact that he's a child as well. those awful lies have been disrupted and exposed by countless brave victims over the last 2 decades who have broken through the personal shame and bravely spoken out. So now Ryan Murphy shapes his horrible narrative through vile and appalling character portrayals of Lyle and of me and disheartening slander. Is the truth not enough? Let the truth stand as the truth. How demoralizing to know that one man with power can undermine decades of progress in shedding light on childhood trauma. Violence is never an answer, never a solution, and is always tragic. And as such, I hope it is never forgotten that violence against a child creates 100 horrendous and silent crime scenes, darkly shadowed behind glitter and glamour and rarely exposed until tragedy penetrates everyone involved. To all those who have reached out and supported me, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And also, this is really weird, Kim Kardashian went to visit the inmates. She over the weekend went with the actor who plays Eric Menendez, named Cooper Koch. She visited the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility to speak about prison reform with a group of inmates that included the Menendez brothers. Yep. I don't know if that was timed in with this controversy going on at the same time, but I guess that Kim Kardashian is still has ambitions of becoming a lawyer.
Yep, still working on it.
She's still working on that.
To be fair, if she ever wanted to take a break from her busy life, she has the money to do so. If she really wanted to become a lawyer, she can.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people defending the character portrayals of the Menendez brothers. One said, Lyle has received 0 violations in prison. He serves inmate government, works on prison reform, offers support to people who have experienced childhood SA. He's not just a good person, he's an amazing person. Another said, never described as aggressive, abusive, bullying by family and friends. Lyle has been described as calm, friendly, generous, supportive, and kind-hearted. Even when he was a child, he was described this way. Another said, the Menendez brothers were victims of sexual abuse who finally retaliated against abusers, and this disgusting piece of trash has turned their story into incestuous fan fiction. Hell is not hot enough for Ryan Murphy.
The truth of the matter is storytellers in Hollywood can take advantage of people who can't really fight back. And in this case, somebody's in prison is exactly that, right? Like,
yeah.
There's a whole class of, like, here's the thing. Nobody's going to feel bad for him. Like, the average person is like, they're like, I got a lot of worry about in my life. Worrying about whether the Menendez brothers how they feel about something isn't high on my list. It's never going to be. And it's not going to be for most people.
Well, it's different with Gypsy because she got out of prison shortly after, it would have been a few years, but shortly after the Hulu show about her came out. And she was able to, like, have her say and have her platform and join social media and all of this. And maybe she wasn't totally prepared to do that. But in their case, in the case of the Menendez brothers, they literally don't have any opportunity to appeal, any opportunity to earn parole based on good behavior. This has ruined their lives.
Yeah.
And it seems like despite all of that, they still, care about getting the truth out there.
The average person is just gonna be like, look, I don't know what the truth is, but
this show is entertaining.
Yeah. I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying, and then somebody who doesn't watch is like, look, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's not. I know that I've got more important things to worry about than whether the Menendez brothers feel like that they were portrayed unfairly in a documentary. Or I'm sorry,
Did Ryan Murphy
in a TV show.
After family members of the Dahmer victims spoke out against
I don't know what happened
against the show. I wonder if Ryan Murphy ever issued an apology?
Look, we always say that the best way to handle controversy is to just not address it for him. Like,
that goes for anyone, but I usually say it in regard to somebody who didn't do anything wrong.
Unfortunately, it's probably true of everyone.
But it's true of everyone, even when you have done something that warrants an apology.
Yep. All right.
Let's catch up on these. Shane H. Wilder said, I believe it is money laundering.
Oh, me? No, I'm not laundering money.
You're innocent.
I'm innocent, not guilty.
Andrew Jacobs said, glad to hear Tim's fam is okay. Y'all stay safe. Is there something going on that I'm not aware of with Tim?
The IRL was canceled on Friday because Tim had a family emergency. I don't know what happened.
Okay. The ninja from Pop Culture Planet said, okay, this is going to be a doozy. Oridas nostre mentis purga tenebras accende lumen sensibus.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either. I hope I didn't say something terrible. Corey Anderson said, Mary, how many phone books are you sitting on? Do I look taller today?
Do you? Oh, you look the same height to me.
I think I look the same.
You look the same height to me.
The answer is 0. Pickle. Wait, what?
So you don't have to sit on phone books.
Yeah, I'm
Not that short.
not that small. Pickle for Sanity said, question, what is the best band that people sleep on and why is it Sleep Token?
Do you have a band that you think people should listen to more?
This is so slept on.
Yeah.
Their what is it? Their downfall.
Yeah. Should
will
be studied.
in the future.
Yep.
What is it for you?
I don't know. Those are those questions you can't just hit somebody with in the moment. You got to give them
so
time to
slept
think
on.
about. You got to give them time to think about it.
I think that the one that comes to mind right now is This Wild Life.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it?
I think.
Okay.
Corey Anderson said, is Michelle serving up sausage too? Wink emoji.
I like that he typed out wink emoji. Let's do one more
What
from
the
Shane H.
hell?
Wilder.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm not sending another one to ask a question. You'll just get me inflating your ecos for 25 seconds and you'll like it. Well, thank you for the preview.
Appreciate that. And
We
then
do
one
appreciate
more
it.
from Shane H. Wilder.
Is Brett saying that Mary sails the high seas?
No, I was saying that Mary
dare he.
uses Tubi, right? And back in the day, I used to use Tubi, and there was a specific Tubi that you had to use, WinRare to unzip files.
Right.
Back in the day,
Right.
okay, not long past the statute of limitations, guys. All right, let's hold off on the rest. And why would I need statute of limitations? It wasn't illegal. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about all that's going on with Usher as it relates to
Yes.
Diddy and Megan Fox and Pink and all these other people.
Since Diddy's arrest, a lot of celebrities, as far as rumor has it, are afraid that Diddy is going to take a plea deal. And what that means is that Diddy would be blowing up everyone's spot. Every celebrity who associated with him during his freak-off parties that involved illicit drugs, allegedly underage prostitutes, all sorts of debauchery. All of these people are going to start running for the hills and doing everything they can to cover their tracks. So the latest example of this would be Usher. Usher has wiped his entire Twitter history, erasing 7,000 of his old tweets. Now, some people say there is a, rational explanation for this.
Apparently, crypto scammers hacked
Yeah.
his account. And so, I've never heard of people deleting your tweets. I've heard of people tweeting crazy shit in your name. But I've never heard of people deleting your tweets as part of getting hacked, but I could be wrong. Like, imagine you're a woman and you're like, man, my account got hacked and all my nudes were just deleted.
Well, according to the community note here, Usher's account on X was hacked on September 12th and was exploited for a meme coin scam. The tweets were not deleted. Their visibility was limited after the compromise. The account and the tweets became visible again at around 10 p.m. on September 22nd. So, according to the community note, Usher's tweets are still up and visible. And I don't know what he would be trying to cover up anyway, but he does have an extensive friendship and professional relationship with Diddy. I believe that at one point, Diddy was Usher's legal guardian, right?
I didn't know that.
Isn't that the case?
I don't know that. I didn't know that.
Let me just fact check that.
Yeah, Usher's tweets are back. They're all up there.
Because wasn't it the case that Usher also became Justin Bieber's legal guardian when he was younger?
You're pushing facts here. I don't know. I don't know
Here,
whether
Diddy
that's true or not.
lived with 14-year-old Usher when he was 23.
I don't know if that makes them the legal guardian or if he was just like the parents, let him.
Here, in 2016, Usher went on Howard Stern and said he saw, quote, very curious things while living with Diddy for a year when he was 13 years old.
There is a 20 there from Pete Donovan.
Hey guys, love the show. Mary, happy first full day of Christian Ghost Girl Autumn. And Brett, instead of Brat Summer next year, let's make it Brett Summer. 3 glorious months of nourishing work-life balance.
Well, I was up with you there until the nourishing part. then
Yeah,
it's
we
kinda
were on
ruined
board
it. But
until-
yeah, and thank you for that.
Is it actually a first day of fall today?
I think it's next week.
That's crazy
it?
because I already feel the chill.
I think it's next week.
I'm just gonna pretend, and I'm gonna continue drinking my pumpkin cold brew. But yeah, at the very least, I don't know if Diddy attained legal guardianship over USHER, but he definitely had a huge role in USHER's life.
I mean, that stuff I know. Look, I know that USHER had a big impact on Justin Bieber, and there's videos of Justin Bieber and Diddy that people find curious, but I don't know the facts of whether they were legally that person's guardian.
At the time that USHER was Justin's guardian, he dropped Justin Bieber off with Diddy. This is on video, to spend 48 hours with Diddy.
I remember that.
And in the video, they allude to certain things happening that should not be happening with a 14-year-old Justin Bieber, but obviously we have no idea.
Autumn did start yesterday. Sorry, I was wrong.
Okay,
fact checked.
We're finally in the autumn. It's Christian Girl Autumn.
Yep.
But now another celebrity that is allegedly in crisis mode over a possible Diddy plea deal is Jennifer Lopez, who is one of his ex-girlfriends.
Yes.
She's not publicly said anything, not made any allegations against him.
A lot of people thought that the breakup between Ben and Jen had to do with that.
And possibly the feds showing Ben Affleck footage from the Diddy tapes.
I just want to know. I guess Ben Affleck has worked on a bunch of movies that probably had Fed and FBI, like had FBI and CIA consultants. So maybe he's got an in there, and they're like, "Hey Ben, like saw this video the other day. There was dildos and baby oil, and I just wanted to give you a heads up beforehand to see what you thought about it." And then you just see him walk outside and make the meme of him with the cigarette going. Ugh.
But then he went back to her.
Yep.
So I'm not entirely sure what's going on with that. But Jennifer Lopez and her management team are rumored to be on high alert, having crisis talks to devise a plan in case she becomes implicated in the ongoing criminal investigation involving her ex, Diddy. Now, I've heard, allegedly, that J-Lo is suspected to be the one who handed Diddy the gun in his 1999 nightclub shooting arrest. It was actually Shine who ended up getting charged and convicted for that shooting, but it is a commonly held belief that Diddy actually forced Shine to take the fall for him in that situation, that Diddy got into a verbal altercation with a drug dealer, and at the time a woman named Natania Rubin was present. She got shot in the face and survived. That bullet is still embedded in her face to this day. And she swears publicly that, like, to this day, she swears that it was Diddy who was the one who pulled the trigger on her, not Shine.
I mean, the fact that she hasn't been sued for defamation probably says a lot.
Yeah. And she is openly celebrating Diddy's recent arrest and saying, I know it was him who did it. And almost killed her. Yeah. And some people believe that J-Lo is the one who handed Diddy that almost murder weapon. Yeah. Which would put her in a very compromising position legally.
The sad fact is we're never going to actually know the answers to any of this stuff. It's fantastic.
Well, the investigation is ongoing.
I mean, I don't think anything big ever comes of this. Everyone's still waiting for that like moment, right? That you never got during Maxwell's trial. Like, you don't learn anything about any actual people. The system protects the system and nothing changes. I think that continues.
Right. And there's also this feeling of like unfinished business from Epstein's detainment, obviously.
That's what I mean, right? Like, this makes great fodder for people who want to cover it and talk about it. Certainly, I found I'm
getting mad at people who just insist on making shit up.
Well, like, there's like the ones that said like the Diddy tapes are disgusting. I'm like, you haven't seen them.
Yeah, there aren't. Like, I mean, the Diddy tapes have been confiscated by the FBI,
they probably are disgusting, but it's just a bunch of people on Twitter who don't have access to them who are just posting about it. And I'm like, it's just engagement bait so that you can make a bunch of money.
And now they're saying that Pink also has gone on a tweet deleting spree. That got fact checked. Never happened. They said that Megan Fox also cleaned up her Instagram for the same reason.
Or no, they said it was her Twitter, but she just never used Twitter.
Whatever it happened to be. Did you think that one of these celebrities was going to tweet about like, just R-worded some underage prostitutes with Diddy back in 2009? Did you think that like that's what you were going to find on someone's Twitter account publicly? Like, no. And there are a lot of people using this as an opportunity to engagement bait.
Like
and it's just annoying.
Megan Fox like never used Twitter. Like she just quit Twitter in like 2013, and that's what they used as evidence that she had deleted all this stuff.
It's really dumb.
And the problem is this is what I say. We live in a world where there's just too much news and information all the time that the average person can't parse through it all and figure out what is engagement bait, what is real. And those narratives are being shaped for them by virtue of people who just want to make the most money possible rather than actually following through. I actually think that might be a little bit worse even than somebody saying the Diddy tapes are disgusting without having, because that just feels fake to me. Like you don't.
It is fake.
You don't know. You haven't seen them. But like the people who are passing off information is real without acknowledging the fact that this isn't actually what happened to Megan Fox's account. If you're doing it knowingly, that's a problem.
Right.
Like it's one thing if you get caught up in the cycle, right? And that does happen. You get caught up in the cycle, you didn't fact check something and then it's wrong. Okay, fine. You made a mistake. But it's if you're doing it ahead of time, you do all of the research beforehand and you knowingly publish that, that's a problem.
And you're like posting random pictures of celebrities who happen to be in the same room as Diddy.
That's the other one. Like, they're like, look, so people are posting there's like 4 or 5 pictures of him with Trump.
Sure.
Does that mean that Trump was at a
famous
freak off?
people go to the same places. Yeah. Another 20 from Just Cause I'm Free. Wouldn't surprise me if Diddy had a hand in killing Tupac. Tupac might have started calling Diddy out for the parties. I'm a believer that Diddy diddled Usher and other musicians. Diddy is the Epstein of the music industry. There have been a lot of speculations about if he had a role in Tupac's death. What we said at the time that was trending is just he did happen to benefit from it.
Yes.
In a secondary way, but there's no actual evidence that he was directly involved in it. And I agree. I completely agree with what you said. Because it's so confusing, I just want to go over just like one of the biggest developments in the Diddy case that has happened in the past month. This is really interesting timing, by the way. Yeah. A book got published under the name of Kim Porter, the late mother of Diddy's children. Yeah. She died back in 2018 of pneumonia. But now some of her friends, allegedly, have leaked a flash drive that belonged to her that included a bunch of lost diary entries, alleging a lot of abusive and illegal behavior against Diddy. Mm-hmm. So let me just go through this. It's called Kim's Lost Words. A 60-page book accuses Diddy of assaulting his late girlfriend, Kim Porter, taping himself having sex with a male teenage pop star, and sex parties with an Oscar winner and his wife. This book claims to be a collection of the diaries of Kim Porter, the mother of 3 of Diddy's children, who died in 2018, leaked by her friends. It describes Sean Combs' colorful love life from the 1990s through Porter's final year, including alleged philandering with both male and female top musicians and rappers, debauched orgies at his home in which Porter took part. So this book was published on September 6th, just days before Diddy got arrested, which is really strange timing. I have to believe that the publisher had to have had prior knowledge about the raid that was going to take place in Florida, but I have no idea how. But
it's called an alleged memoir. Am I the only person who's also suspicious of this?
You should be, because we don't know a lot about it.
This miraculously gets published right as it comes out.
Let me elaborate. So this memoir has disturbing alleged accounts of Diddy slapping Kim Porter after losing his temper and making death threats to her. In the book, Porter recounts discovering and making copies of tapes that Diddy made of himself having sex with, quote, young boys he was managing, including an alleged tape involving an 18-year-old pop star who went on to be a household name. A lot of people are speculating this is Justin Bieber. The final entry of this alleged memoir has Kim Porter falling ill, dramatically texting her friends, quote, "he got me," and then calling 911. So the book's LA-based publisher, a producer named Chris Todd.
Hold, please. Crisis party. Thank you, guys. Tonal issues.
We have a lot of tonal issues.
It's okay. That's okay.
Thank you, guys. There's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is.
Some days are more serious than others.
Yeah. Okay. So you were questioning like the origin of this, right? So after Diddy's arrest, the publisher who wanted to remain anonymous decided he was safe to come forward.
Okay.
Really weird stuff. So this says the book's LA-based producer named Chris Todd claims that Kim Porter shared a thumb drive of her writing with close friends, which he obtained and lightly edited, whatever that means, into a book under a pseudonym, Jamal T. Millwood. The book is marked as being printed in Las Vegas on September 7th, 2024. Chris Todd has not offered any documentary evidence to prove its authenticity, but he put hard copies up for sale on Amazon. Quote, "I was lucky enough to meet someone that purported to have Kim Porter's flash drive. I know the celebrity source pretty well. I know how close they were to Kim and Diddy and all the people in the hip hop community. This was supposedly for Kim Porter from the grave to come forward and tell her story."
Look, it's a fantastic headline that's going to get you a lot of money, which makes me infinitely more suspicious than I already would be.
Yeah.
Unfalsifiable, can't prove that it's real. What am I supposed to do with this?
It says Todd wanted to originally not put his name on the book for security reasons, saying this is a dangerous situation and I didn't want to claim ownership over Kim's words, but now I'm willing to come forward because of the recent arrest of Diddy. And now the federal government has finally acted. I feel safer to come forward. Mm-hmm. So that's all we know. He has not proven one way or the other if this is verifiably true, but people of course don't care. They see the headline, they go over to X, and they post a bunch of vague statements and claim it as fact, but we don't actually know what was going on.
Mm-hmm. The world is a house of cards now, and the cards are made up of information that gets passed through source to source to source, changed every step along the way, and it will drive you mad if you pay very, very close attention to it. Unfortunately, it's designed to be sold to people who don't pay super close attention to it, which makes it problematic on all levels, and that's an issue.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to see and parse through all of this information as best as we can, because that is our tagline, right?
Yeah. Well,
we try to help you stay sane in the insane world of pop culture. Like, it doesn't get more insane than this.
Yep. And again, my fear is that nothing's going to come of any of this. He'll go to jail. You're not going to see any tapes or videos. You're not going to see anything come of this. I just don't think that
is the pessimistic but more
it's realistic
and level-headed.
It's not pessimistic. It's realistic.
Yes.
Look, every day you go on Twitter or you go on social media and you hear somebody's like, they're all being exposed. Nobody knows.
Well,
Nobody
here's what
cares,
I think because of the investigation against Diddy, I think he is going to face consequences for his criminal actions. However, like an Epstein, like a Harvey Weinstein or a Maxwell, that means Diddy is the fall guy for a bunch of other people
who will never be exposed.
Who will not be exposed. It's not all getting exposed,
and exposing somebody doesn't mean posting a picture of two people who saw each other at a party. It has to be more than that.
And contrary to what you might hear from accounts like Matt Wallace or Dom Lucra, or any number of people on X who collect ad revenue, that's all they're doing. They're just collecting impressions, saying the most outrageous things that they possibly can without getting sued. So I would advise you not to listen to them.
All right.
Let's finish up these super chats. Shane H. Wilder, so much cute this weekend. Moo Deng and vote for Grandpa. What is this?
I think I did see something about vote for Grandpa.
Who's Grandpa?
Let me see if I can find it.
Is everyone just gonna write in Grandpa this election cycle?
Oh, Trump's grandchildren steal the show at the North Carolina rally. Vote for Grandpa. I think he asked them to say MAGA, and he said vote for Grandpa.
Aw, that's cute. Corey Anderson said, I don't like the Baldwins, but I also don't like their acting. Well, isn't it?
You don't have to like them at all.
Wait, which one is more famous, Alec or what was the other note?
There's a bunch of them. Billy Baldwin, Alec Baldwin.
I guess Alec would be the
Alec
most
is
famous.
the most famous of them, yes,
Yeah.
by far.
Brian Bledsoe said, did you see Jamie Foxx was on live while Jerry Jones talks about a player's junk size?
I did not see that.
That's crazy. Brett, you need to check your Slack messages, by the way.
Okay.
Urashima Otaru said pygmy hippos grow 2 to 3 feet tall and 4 to 5 feet long, 397 to 606 pounds. Okay, so I don't know how much Moo Deng weighs now.
So is he going to get bigger?
I hope not. You're misgendering Moo Deng, by the way.
She's going to get bigger.
It's a she.
She's going to get bigger.
That's important. Red Snow said, put a wall on. Genuinely, though, put a wall on. The Minic Mustache said, late as usual and apropos to Space Kings, the wife called me her good little Haitian refugee. Stay toxic, my friends.
You guys get up to some freaky shit there, I bet.
That's kind of crazy.
Leave me out of it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about all that. Shane H. Wilder said, Mo El-Masri, Mo problems. Yeah, and she kicked his ass to the curb. The Felicer, I don't know if that's how I'm supposed to say it, said Kamala Harris's father is biracial, Irish and black. Her great-great-grandfather is a very famous Irishman for those you care to look it up. I thought her father was Jamaican.
All of that stuff just ends up paling in comparison to the importance of, like, are you actually capable of doing your job? I don't give a
Wasn't she raised in Canada?
No clue. Like I don't care what your racial makeup is. I don't care.
I mean,
I guess I have to care where you were raised, but like I don't care. Is she capable of doing the job?
I do care because I can tell that there is a very serious animus toward white people in the Democratic Party, and that Kamala Harris is using this like chameleon persona to appeal to different racial minorities.
It's unfortunately it's going to go on forever, right? It's like Elizabeth Warren. All of these things, it appeals.
I mean, she never had a leg to stand on with
it perfectly appeals to their side, right? Where you can change your tonal quality and your accent wherever you go, which is something that people do, and they find that to be a positive, whereas other people see it as fake and a red flag.
They said, actually, if you think that Kamala Harris is doing this consciously, like changing her accent, you're racist because code switching. That's what she was doing. She was code switching because she was worried that her primarily white crowd in Pittsburgh was going to rise up with pitchforks and torches and try to kill her if she spoke with AAVE in her dialect. That's why she had to code switch, so that her own supporters wouldn't kill her.
And anybody with half a brain understands that is not true.
But because there are academic articles about it.
The same level of saying that, I'm sure, is that why Hillary Clinton carries hot sauce around in her purse sometimes?
I got hot sauce in my bag.
All of these things just end up being the type of thing I get annoyed with, because I'm like, look, that doesn't mean, none of that has anything to do with her ability to do her job. What's her track record in office right now?
Well, she's a woman, so we already know.
I know.
The answer to that question. That Stanzatastic said, why marry only one dancing for party? Bert? He's mad at you.
You can't make me dance.
Brett's just not in the mood to dance today.
I don't want to dance.
Shane H. Wilder said that girl next to her is looking like, bitch, I'm just trying to eat. Quit touching me. Like, why is there just randomly a child there and she's screaming like, F this, F that? It's very uncouth. That Stanzatastic said Paris Hilton used to embrace the rich.
Yep.
Stop being poor.
Exactly.
I really wish that were
A real shirt.
a real shirt. Well, I wish that shirt like actually was what she was wearing. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I bought that shirt. I have that shirt. Sirenko Productions said, isn't this guy that shouted out a tonsil stone?
I don't know what it's in reference to.
Haley Williams?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said, do I want to live in a dictatorship? Meh, why not? That's where I'm at.
Well, unfortunately, that type of ambivalence is probably what brings about the dictatorships anyways.
Yeah, so we're primed and ready. Pat the Plumber said this is worse than People's Joker. Which one? The Haley Williams video?
Either the Haley Williams one or the Selena Gomez one.
Yeah. Just Because I'm Free said Haley Williams says don't vote for Trump. Oh, I already read that one. Potatoes for Seamus. I want to live in a Mary Shane H. Wilder regime.
Sirenko says it was the cringe of the day that was really bad.
Oh. Okay. I mean, I thought it was actually a tad bit endearing. You know? There are so many people who don't say what they want these days.
Like, what's worse than somebody putting themselves out there? It's putting yourself out there in a voice text or in a Snapchat video.
He's funny. I understand why people get a kick out of him. Greg Duvier said, can bans Hollywood athletes lecturing me on politics? I think you mean stop. I'm here to watch you perform, not get your political beliefs. That would be great.
Yeah, at least when the actors do it, it's not during the movie, theoretically, if the movie isn't about that. Though that would be even funnier.
They pause the movie in the middle of the premiere and they walk out and they're like, everyone stop what you're doing.
Like a Ben Shapiro ad in one of his videos that just cuts in with him. Like in the middle of the movie, it's just
no, it would be like if they stopped Am I Racist in the middle of its theater showing and did an ad for ExpressVPN.
That would have been amazing.
That's literally what it would be.
That would have been amazing.
Greg Duvier said, wrong one. Shane H. Wilder, potatoes, all Sundays and holy days of obligation would be federal holidays. There will be state-issued rosaries. I think I agree with that policy, but we need to mandate that all businesses stay open 24 hours a day and close all day on Sunday. I think that would compensate for it. So, Chick-fil-A gets to stay closed on Sunday, but they'll just be open 24 hours all the other days.
Okay.
Would you be on board with that?
No.
No?
No.
Why?
I mean, I only need gas stations and Walmart to be open 24 hours. Target too, maybe.
So we're just going to mandate it on
just
them.
The fiscal burden of keeping them up the rest of that time is too great for the country.
This is going to be a sleepless country. Shane H. Wilder, spiritual. Oh, so you play with rocks and do yoga. That's usually what it means. Yeah. It just means, I'm too cowardly to commit to anything. Greg Duvier said the higher power Haley is talking about is government.
Yeah.
She is clearly,
they do worship the state.
Replaced her god. Shane H. Wilder said, I will only be kind if I have to rewind.
It's before your time.
What does that mean?
When you went to a video store and you rented a movie on VHS, it had a little sticker on it that said, be kind, please rewind. Meaning that when you're done watching the movie, rewind it to the beginning so the next person doesn't get the movie and it's at the end of the credits and then have to hit the rewind button.
But
be kind, rewind.
How long would it take you to do that?
Would it like to rewind it?
Because I've never done that. How long?
A couple of minutes at the most.
Really?
Yeah, 1 or 2 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But I also never rented tapes.
I bet you there's a bunch of people that have selective memory, like, oh, I always rewound my tapes when I brought it back, and you're just like,
yeah,
really?
Like everyone has failed to put their shopping cart back at least once. I honestly, by that.
I don't know if I have, just because it was my first job. I don't know if that's ever been a thing. As long as I've driven a car, I don't think I've
gone to your head.
Maybe I'm misremembering it, but I don't think so personally. I personally don't think so.
Potatoes for Seamus said the people want Brett to grow man bun and love us. You gonna do that? I saw a man bun Brett before.
It can't hurt you.
It was horrifying.
It can't hurt you. It does.
Is Man Bun Brett in the room with us?
It does exist though. There are photos.
Did you show that on the show?
No.
Maybe on 700 you guys can see Man Bun Brett.
I never actually wore it up in the man bun. The hair was just really long.
It's another creature.
When I was skating, I would have to sometimes put it up because the hair would get. I never understood the dudes who had like shoulder length hair and could do tricks, and the hair is just all in their vision. How do you do that?
It's like skills.
I mean, it's because most of the sport has to do with like muscle memory. Like you can't do it blind, but I can do a fair amount of tricks without my glasses on, even though I can barely see because most of it is muscle memory.
Yeah. Waffle Sensei said, be kind, yard signs are for people who are the nastiest of our society, and that no one would ever naturally come to the conclusion that they are kind. Yeah, I mean, they're clearly compensating for something.
Yep.
Corey Anderson said, Brett, be Protestant, same religion, half the guilt.
I'm naturally a guilty person anyways from growing up Catholic, I'm sure. So it doesn't, I don't know if that's actually why, but you know, I'm not going to need to be Protestant. It wouldn't lessen my guilt. I'm already guilty with no religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You don't need to.
I don't need to
find
add
some more.
like it wouldn't take any of it away. Doesn't make any sense. It would just add a little bit more.
I just never understood what Catholic guilt was about.
Look, it's just it's kind of more of just an inside joke or a term that gets used. I don't know if it's actually true. Maybe people in the chat have strong feelings about that.
If anyone in the chat was raised Catholic and you know all about Catholic guilt, please elaborate for us, because I never understood that. I was just, I don't know, it seemed pretty straightforward to me that like some things are wrong and some things are right, and when you do the wrong thing you should feel bad about it. That's just kind of morality. Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, Jesus is lit. Me, yes, this is why we are on fire for him. Season 5 is filming right now. It will cover Holy Week. There is a free Chosen app. Okay, so you can stream it for free on their platform.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I mean, there might be ads on there though.
For more Chosen ads for more.
It'd be for other Angel Studios productions.
I guess so, yeah. I wouldn't really mind. Potatoes for Seamus said, Shane H. Wilder, which Friday will we give Mary a fishy fry in honor of her great rule over our society? Maine A can let Brett out of the gulag for that?
Yeah, I didn't catch any of that except for the fish fry
I don't know what
part.
any of that means. Shane H. Wilder said, potatoes, November 27th, the day of the apparition of Our Lady of Graces of the Miraculous Medal, or just do it on Mary's birthday.
Okay.
I will have to pick between the two. Shane H. Wilder said there is a 1971 slasher called The Zodiac Killer that came out while the killer was active. It was made to try and draw out the Zodiac. It didn't work.
Yeah. Go watch the 2007 Zodiac by, what was that, David Fincher?
Did you ever watch the old one, the original?
No, I only saw the 2007 one, which I really, really liked. It's just I haven't seen it in a very long time.
George Longfellow said, Mary, are you okay with kids murdering their parents? Is that the justice to any child abuse? I don't know where you got that from, but that is not what I said. I said that they are more sympathetic than most murderers, which I believe is true, because the people they murdered did heinous things to them when they were defenseless children. Greg Duvier said, more people need to listen to All That Remains. I know I do.
It's a fantastic PSA.
It was weird when, Phil got here and like, I had listened to all of these bands that were adjacent to his, but never heard of his band.
He's like, oh.
I mean, he's fine without me. He doesn't need me. Corey Anderson said, if you farted, would those mics pick it up?
I have no idea.
I doubt it. I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said, Matt Mason is being slept on. His song Cringe is in the PCC meme list playlist. Who Killed Matt Mason and The Hearse are great albums. What genre, though?
Yeah.
Corey Anderson said, should a woman have to wait until they are married to own lingerie?
Wow, asking the deep and philosophical questions here. That's, some lingerie company should use that as an ad.
I listened to a Catholic podcast that is targeted at women.
Okay. And they had this discussion?
I think they might have.
Okay.
It's almost certainly, but they have a sponsor, or at least they used to have a sponsor that is a lingerie company run by, I think, a Catholic woman, and it's called, I kid you not, it's called Mentionables. Get it?
Because it's not an unmentionable.
Got it?
It's a mentionable.
You can mention it.
Because you're married, so it's okay.
Well, I think the point of their company being started is that they don't use models; they use mannequins.
Oh, ethical lingerie production.
Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that, but how about you ask the Pope? George Longfellow said, "Did Menendez Bro's mom deserve to die? More than one thing can be true at once. Child abuse is wrong. So is cold-blooded murder. Lyle and Eric are murderers."
Look, if you ask Twitter on any given day about whether, again, we're straining TOS today, whether PDF files deserve, that type of stuff, that type of outcome, you'll get infinite responses saying yes. So you don't usually don't get that level of nuance in those discussions. You don't.
I don't know if I made this clear, but for those of you not aware of the context, it is their father who was accused of sexually abusing the brothers, but they accused their mother of abuse in the form of violence, and she also was made aware of the father's abuse, her husband's abuse, when the brothers were children, and decided to ignore it and defend her husband, which unfortunately happens quite a lot in families. That is horrifying to me. I cannot imagine being in that position and not doing everything to protect my children, or any children. It doesn't matter who they are, but
absolutely,
unfortunately that happens a lot. And I do think that woman, most likely, if they are telling the truth about their own abuse that they suffered, she is a monstrous person. I, again, am obviously not saying that murder was the solution. I don't think that the Menendez brothers are saying that violence was the solution. I think he very clearly stated it wasn't. But their defense is that they felt they were in danger for their lives, so at the hands of their parents.
Put a girl on.
Put a girl on said, "As a guy with history of abuse, there's no excuse." Not sure if you mean that you have a history of abusing or that you have a history of being abused. Yeah. But either way, yes, there is no excuse. There's explanations, but there is no excuse. Shane H. Wilder said prayers for Serge. He has Montezuma's revenge.
I wonder if Serge will be with us on episode 700, so you can say your prayers for him then.
Pat the Plumber said, raised a rich part of Canada, middle class, my ass.
Oh,
Kamala, okay, so it's true. She did grow up in Canada.
Again, I know that what I'm talking about is like a utopian idea that everybody would just stay on the issues and focus on their qualifications.
Had a little RFK moment there.
Yeah.
Just focus on the issues.
Focus on the issues. But the problem is everyone gets sidetracked into these things that ultimately don't play a role in whether someone can do their job or not. Where she grew up, I guess, is kind of important, especially if she wasn't like an American citizen, which obviously isn't the truth. She is. But what percentage her racial makeup is doesn't matter to me, just like it doesn't for a dude. Do you have a history of delivering on the things you say you're going to deliver on? Mm-hmm. Do you have a strong track record with your previous jobs that show that whatever tasks you take on, you accomplish? If you can show me that, I'm likely to at least entertain the idea of supporting you. Where you were born, as long as you were born in the country and you meet the requirements to be a politician here, which is not something anybody should want to do anyways. Beyond that, I don't really care what your racial makeup is. I don't really care what gender you are. If I had to choose between Kamala Harris and Tulsi Gabbard, I'll take Tulsi Gabbard. If I had to choose between them and Vivek, I would take Vivek any day of the week. And it doesn't really matter.
LMAO at the idea of voting for a female president.
Look, it's kind of like over the weekend. I said I watched the Penguin was better than Agatha and The Chosen was better than both of them. So,
but you had to see the Penguin naked.
Oh, actually, I've got a bone to pick with them on that because the naked fat suit looks way less than what he actually looks like when he's wearing the
Wait, that
clothes.
was a fat suit? That wasn't him?
I'm assuming it's a fat suit because he's...
Not a body double or anything?
When I saw that, if you guys saw it, like if you look at the Penguin when he's waddling around as the character, he looked way bigger to me than what he looked like when he was in the fat suit. But maybe I just didn't look that closely. People were having their own like kerfuffle about like, oh, so it's okay for the Penguin to be butt naked, but it's not okay for Agatha. And of course, the rational person says, well, the Penguin wasn't being looked at by a child on screen, even though we understand that that's not what happened in the shooting of the show. Very likely the girl was not acting across the street from a naked Agatha.
Right.
But the point is that they're completely different things entirely. It's a false equivalency.
Right, yes. And also, like, maybe there is a double standard, and maybe I'm okay with that, and F you. Shane H. Wilder said 24-hour businesses except Sunday and holy days works. I think we're all on the same page here. Yurishima Otaru said they actually made speed rewinders you could buy. If it really took only 2 minutes, that's crazy.
Maybe it was longer.
Tacti Platy said I worked a video store with a VHS. Many didn't rewind.
Yeah, everybody's rewriting their own history now. So you know what it is? It's the modern day equivalent of all those kids being like, yeah, I'd have been against slavery.
Totally. I would have fought against Jim Crow.
Yeah.
I'm different. I'm just built different.
They're like, I would have rewound my video cassettes.
Yeah.
Like, no, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have rewound shit.
Boosted Yogi said, I'm just pissed about most gyms not being 24 hours now. Yeah. I mean, I don't really go to the gym, but I imagine that if I did, I would want to go at the middle of the night when no one else is there, so I don't have anyone bothering me.
I mean, that would
recording me in their TikToks.
That would depend on your sleep schedule and whether you exercise before bed or not. There's different schools of thought on whether it's a good idea to exercise that close to sleeping and stuff like that. So
it's all too complicated, man. The esoteric health influencers are all saying different things, and they're telling me to eat this weird carrot salad shit.
By the time you woke up, I've already lived. I've already had 2 days, right? From 6 to 12, from 12 to 6, and then from 6 to 12 again. I lived 3 days in 1 day.
The most annoying thing.
Do your journaling,
like,
Mary.
If you like, I saw this health influencer saying that like actually you don't need a calorie deficit in order to lose weight.
I did see people saying that the health industry is lying, and most people that are fat are not fat because of calories.
She said most fat people are eating 1,200 calories a day.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're not that gullible, right? High Voltage 75 said, no, Brett, join the Latter-day Saints. I hear you can have multiple wives. How exciting.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ?
Well, I had some Latter-day Saints come up to my door, and they vehemently denied what you just said. So...
Did you talk to them? Do you talk to them the same way you talk to like telemarketers when they call?
Yes, I do, but less hostile.
I was telling the story. Look, I was out skating over the weekend, and I drove through like a mega church, and it was the epitome of what you imagine the mega church to be. It's just nobody needs a building that big.
You said there was a freaking limo?
So you go in there, and these large carved statues of a lamb and what is it, like a lamb and a lion? Is that what it is?
That's what you said it was.
Yeah. Is that like, so there's the lion and there's the lamb, and I'm like, that seems excessive. I go in there, there's all of these fleet vehicles that were like nice Lexuses. I'm like, couldn't have gotten some like Corollas or whatever for the staff to drive. And I drive around back, and there's just this enormous stretch limo. It was like a stretch SUV limo.
That's what the pastor shows up in.
And I just imagine the pastor shows up in that to like entrance music.
He's like adjusting his cufflinks in the photos,
and then
he's got the Rolex.
Yeah, and just not just that, but there was only, because this was I was skating on a Saturday, so there was not a lot of cars there. It was, other than the fleet vehicles in the back, there was 2 cars in the front. Both of them were like Mercedes SUVs. I'm like, you're not helping your case here, guys.
They're not humble.
It's like, at least it wasn't a Maserati. They've got that going for them.
Well, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having nice shit.
It's a joke.
It can be excessive,
yes,
though,
it was a bit excessive. It's like, clearly nobody's taking a vow of poverty here.
No, that's definitely a Catholic thing. Corey Anderson said special dispensation paying to sin extra guilt. Not sure what you're referring to there.
Also, before somebody in the leaves a comment thinking that I'm judging their religion, I'm just joking, guys. There's like somebody got really mad because I had something to say. I'm watching The Chosen now. I get a free pass.
Yeah, you're basically honorary at this point.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Shane H. Wilder said no ads on The Chosen app, tons of special features.
Cool.
Interesting.
Look, I'm enjoying the show a lot.
New Guy Don't Haze Me said, I'm curious of these devices, which ones have Mary used? VCR, rotary phone, record player, Walkman, CD player.
Have you used any of those?
I mean, my parents' cars had CD players in them.
Never used a rotary phone?
No.
It's a very satisfying thing to use.
No, none of these, actually. But yeah, if you count like CD players that were in my parents' cars.
Not the same as if you had a Discman or something.
No, never. Now like vintage tech is just iPod Shuffle.
It's crazy because people will talk these days about like back in the day trying to skate with like a Discman in your pocket.
So cumbersome.
Impossible because the skip protection would never actually work while you're trying to do a physical activity anyways. And now you don't even have to have your device in your pocket while you're skating. You just put it in like in your shoe and place it by whatever you're skating, and you can just listen to music. You don't even have to have the iPod anymore.
I mean, are there people at skate parks who like take Bluetooth speakers and subject everyone to their music?
I mean, it wouldn't matter. The sound depends on if it's indoor or outdoor, and how many people are there. Yeah, I've seen people do it.
It's quite obnoxious.
Doesn't matter. I use my headphones anyways.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Matt is alt pop. Catholic guilt is not a thing."
Then why do people use the term?
I don't get it. Put a girl on said, I'm going to a Catholic church Sunday, first time. Well, that's exciting. Report back about how it goes. I'm curious. Carnell said, Hail PCC, can we go ahead and steal the name Crisis Talk during the Discord voice message segments for episode 700? Inquiring minds want to know.
We can call it that.
Crisis line?
Crisis line. Yes!
I think we need to have our crisis line instituted on the show.
Crisis. We need to get like a graphic made for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jessica!
Can you hear us, Jessica?
Okay, George Longfellow said, so you want a society where certain murder is okay. Lyle and Eric did not kill in self-defense. They could have reported abuse to cops versus planning to kill. Again, I did not say that certain murder is okay. I very clearly said that violence and that murder was not the solution for their situation, nor is it the solution for anyone. All I'm saying is that their defense in court was that they were afraid they would lose their lives to a plot from their parents, and that they were arguing self-defense. We don't know if that actually happened. Mr. Wolfgrim said, do you think Patrick Bateman rewound his videotapes before returning them? He definitely did. That's why you're all psychopaths. Greg Duvier said, justice for Mocha episode 700.
There will be no justice for Mocha, even on episode 700.
They're really pressing for this.
Yeah, that won't happen on 800.
They really want the Mocha appearance.
Nope. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel, please, if you have not done so already? Go ahead and do it.
Why haven't you?
Why haven't you?
If you haven't already.
Oh, and we should give them an announcement before we do all the outros and everything that on episode 700, we will be doing voicemails. And if you go to the Timcast Discord right now and sign up, there is a subsection there for PCC episode 700 voice messages. So please go and do that.
Yeah, and we've linked in the chat and the description as well.
How to sign up for the Discord.
How to sign up for the Discord, but you do have to be a member at timcast.com. Anyways, you guys can send me validation on Instagram at MaryArchived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also MaryArchived. We have one more, I think, from High Voltage 75. Thanks for the show, PCC. Now go nourish your bodies with yummy goodies. You deserve it. And remember to appreciate yourself and always be kind.
Man, I hate
Kiss
that.
emoji.
One more.
Shane H. Wilder said Matt Mason is alt pop. Okay, I got it. Catholic guilt is not a thing. You do something wrong, you feel bad, and ask for forgiveness, then move on with your life. Yeah, I never really understood the hang-ups about it, but that's just me.
And then one more there from That Stanzatastic.
Final super chat, GG.
Perfect.
Thank you for that.
All right, guys, if you'd like to follow me, Instagram and Twix, at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, guys, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix, at popculture_show. Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. One more time, I do want to have you guys go over there and leave us a voicemail on the Timcast Discord for episode 700. We will hopefully be listening to those. It's going to be a lot of fun. The 700th episode will be on Thursday, but until tomorrow, we will see you tomorrow. Until tomorrow, we'll see you tomorrow.
We will.
We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.